Hello everyone, thanks for joining today's live. Yes, so hello again, welcome to Jobless Developer. Before I start with today's session, I would like to say two things. The first is thanks for coming live. The second is sorry that I haven't come for last 2 days. It's just that I have completed my quarantine period, so once you go outside your house it's amazing, right? So yeah, I just came from Australia to India, so I had to sit in my home for like 14 days. I mean, a week in a hotel and a week in my home. So I just went out. So I wanted to go a lot of places, so that's why I couldn't come online. So I'm just sorry for that. And hi, brother. Thanks for joining the live. Yes. So I hope you guys had practiced all the things that I've taught so far, like the basic HTML concepts, the basic CSS concepts. I guess you guys understood how to get the CSS, how to import the files from the other CSS file, how to use that, and how to display it onto the website, right? So now that we know the basics of CSS, today I would like to start with few basic things, such as, see over here we went with the selectors, right? Selectors, and as in the tag selector, the ID selector, the class selector, the input selector, the pseudo selector. I mean pseudo as in when we hover on the button, what should happen to the button? When we click on the text box, what should happen on the text box? These are the basic things that I'm talking about. So we know about these basic things so far. Now I would like to discuss about the next basic concepts. So what's happening over here is that I have mixed matched everything over here, right? So you can see that these basics are these files which I created. So what I wanted to do today is I want to show you guys how to create a folder. See, so far we created a HTML file, a CSS file, and we try to write a code, we try to execute that code, and we try to implement the live server concepts. But what we'll do now is we will try to implement, I mean we will try to create a folder and put all these files into that folder itself, because it would be easy for us, right? So what we do is, in the first, we okay, before I jump into the course, I would like to know if my voice is audible properly. Anyone who is watching live, can you please let me know if my voice is audible properly? If it is proper, then I will go with the flow as it is. Or if you want me to increase the voice, then that's alright as well. I will increase my voice. But please do let me know in the comments so that it will be like a good to go one. Or else let me test that for myself itself. Give me a moment. Yes, it's working fine. It's working fine. So yeah, now we'll look at how to create a directory. Directory is nothing but the folder. Creating a folder, creating a directory is the same. Those two things are the same. So what you do is, under which folder structure you want the directory to be. For me, I want the directory to be, or the folder to be, in the CSS completed files itself. So what I'll do over here is I'll right click on this folder, I'll say new and say directory. I will say all underscore basics, or else practice files. And what I do is I will drag and drop it over there. I'll say okay. These are the basic things that we did right in the last class. So if we want to do any practice files, what we do is we create a folder called practice files and let's do everything over there. Yes, so now that we know what CSS selectors are, we try to implement these things, right? this was a class, this was the ID, and if there is a ID and a class together, then what all things will have a priority on what. So this is done. The colors has not been done yet. So in today's concept, what we are going to learn is CSS colors, CSS backgrounds, CSS borders. These are the basic things that I would like to do. So these were also done as well. On a focus, what we wanted to have a background color as, these were done. Even this is like the files, the practice thing that we did. So we'll drag and drop it over there. So the files which are left so far until the borders part is colors, backgrounds and borders. So let's close everything over here and let's start from the beginning itself. So let's go back to our PowerPoint. Yes, welcome to the course, guys. So in today's, what we will do is we'll go with the colors, we'll go what are the different type of colors, how to display the colors onto the website, because the website should be colorful. That's the main priority. The website should be colorful no matter what. The second priority is that once the color is good, how do you want the color to be? You want the shadings, you want whatever it is. You want the color on the top left, top right. Where do you want to arrange it? You want it for the background, you want it for the font. No matter what it is, how do you want to display those things? And the second concept what we'll learn is background. I mean, what is the background image you want, or a background color, or background properties. Various properties are there. I will explain you all the properties of backgrounds, and after we do with this one, we will go with the borders. These three are the concepts that we have already covered, but what we'll do is we'll try to go in depth so that we can understand the concept properly. So yes, the first concept is colors. As the name states, how to represent a color. There are many ways to represent a color. There are many ways to print the color onto the screen. So the first way is the textual color. The second is RGB, hexadecimal, HSL format, RGBA, HSLA and so on. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 color formats that we need to know. So the first thing what we'll do is we will learn about what the textual color is. See, there is something called non-transparent, and there is something non-transparency and transparency, and we will learn about transparency and non-transparency in the later concepts, but we will learn that today itself, but we will see what these things are. So when we go back to the previous slide, you will be wondering that there is RGB format over here, but what is RGBA? There is HSL format over here. What is HSLA? So once we get to learn what RGBA, HSLA are, then we will know about transparency. Until then, we will go with the flow. The first thing, textual colors. Textual colors as in the color name itself. Blue, red, green, yellow, orange, salmon color, or whatever it is. Blue, violet, green, yellow, whatever it is. These are the colors that you write in the name format. So if you say I want the color to be blue, the color will be blue. If I want the color to be black, I will write it as black, and so on, right? So it's saying over here that now you know about this. What we do is we'll create a file. It's easy for us when we do practicals, right? So we will go to the practice files. In this we'll say right click, new HTML file, and we will say 02 underscore, okay, as the colors is 01 underscore CSS colors. What we do is we type the same thing, CSS underscore colors, and we got a good file. The second thing what we need to do is, yes guys, we need to do the live server. So click on the terminal, or else right click on the practice file, save that, open in terminal. It will open live dash server hyphen port equals to 9000, and you get this by default browser. For me this is the default browser. So what I do is I'll open a Google Chrome, I'll paste the URL over there. That's nice. Sorry for the zooming part. We'll zoom. Yes, this is enough. So today we are going to go with the colors part, right? So yes, it's a plain background. That's good to see. we'll change the title. The first thing you need to do, change the title. Say that CSS Colors. That's amazing. Now that you have a title, go back, CSS Colors has been changed. So first part is done. So yes, what is the textual format? For example, let's say what do we say? Okay, we'll say that let's create a style. In the style tag, I will say my whole body should have background color as light green. If I save it, if I go back, I get a proper light green color, right? Okay, now that I know what a light green color is, now what I want to explain the concept over here is that, see, this is what is called as a textual color. Background color you are writing as light green, and you don't want that to happen. So what we do is we leave this as it is. Okay, we will create a division tag and give the okay, so we write h1 tag, we say jobless developer, we save it, we get a h1, proper h1. So we give few styles over there. We say h1, I want h1 should be having box shadow 10 pixels black. Okay, I want the width to be 400 pixels. Okay, let's go with 300 pixels. Nice. I want see, it's like over there, right? I want it to be at the center, so don't worry about this concept, but for now go with the flow like I'm doing. Margin will be 200 pixels space auto. Oh, it's too much, right? I'll go with 100 pixels with the auto. Nice. I want the text to be at the center, so I'll go with text align as a center. Save it. Okay, but I need a gap inside the box, so what I do is I'll say padding. I want a 15 pixels padding. Oh, it's too much, right? I will say 10 pixels padding, and on the left and right side I want 20 pixels padding. Okay, now it's good. This is the basic concept that I want. So the let's leave as it is. So this is how all my h1 tags will have. So what additional thing I want is, I want to explain you guys about the basic things such as what a textual color is, what another things are, and so on. So first concept that we will learn here is textual color. So you properly know what a textual color is, but we need to learn from the beginning. So yes, let's save it. Nothing, no changes. So this is what it is. So if I want the background color of h1 to be white, what I do, first I give an id. I say it as textual color. Let's copy this. The reason why I'm implementing in this way is because we need to know how to use the ID, how to use the class. The main reason I'm not using the class over here is because I want each concept to be individual concept. I don't want anything to be there, anything common thing, right? So ID will be the best path. And yes, in order to give styles to the ID, we need to give hash and print the ID name. I want the background color to be white, and there you go. See, what's the meaning of textual color is that if I say white, I write it white, I get white. If I say blue, I write blue and I get blue. If I give whatever it is, see, in order to get the things which I'm saying, the colors, what you do is you go back over here, press Ctrl and space, and you get this help box. So I'll select a proper color for say dark salmon, save it, go back over there and see. So whatever the thing what I want to convey over here is that which color you write, whatever color name you write, all the colors are displayed as it is. If I want this to be in a black color, I write black and I get a black color. Okay, if you want the font to be white, so then tell that the color, which is nothing but the font color, I want that to be white, and you get a white color. So this is what the first concept is. This is called as textual color. Textual color is nothing but whatever color you want to represent on the screen. You just write the color name over there itself. You don't do anything else. I don't want the black color, I want any other dark color. So what I say, I go with the fire brick, save it, and there you go, the fire brick color. It's good, right? So but there are like millions of colors, there are a lot of colors, right? You cannot see any, you cannot remember all the color names. That's why what I do is I go back over there, I'll get the help from here, I'll say okay, the some other random name, whatever it is, I'll say I will go with this one, save it. I got over there, but the color, the text color is not looking good. So okay, for now let's go with lime green. Okay, for me this looks good for now. I will say yes, let's go with this. So this is what is called as a textual color. So with this we know what a textual color is. If you want to display a white color, just type in white. If you want to display black color, just type in black. So whatever property it is, if it's for a background color, then go with the background hyphen color and type the name if you don't know the name. So what you do is Control space and you get the help button, help option, and you can select one among that. So and then if you want to change the font color, the second thing what you do is you type the color as the property name and give the value whatever color you want. That's amazing, right? So the next concept is the next way. See, whatever color is there over here, it's not transparent at all. About the transparency part, I will explain you guys after some time, because I want you guys to understand what is a transparency and what is not. See, it's like a glass, a transparent or translucent glass, the glass through which you can see, you can get to know the difference. But I will explain that concept later on. The second question, before I go back to the second concept, I would like to know if there are any queries so far. If there are any queries, then please do let me know, and I will for sure see if there are any queries and I can solve them right away. And assuming that there are no more queries at the moment, so what we do is we go and jump to the next concept, which is called as RGB. So what is RGB? R represents red, G represents green, B represents blue, and the values are ranging from 0 to 255. So okay, let's go and take another example. Let's create another. So you don't need a division, right? Because I didn't give anything over there. So let's okay, now let's create another h1 tag and let me explain you one concept over here. There is something called as cheat codes, you know, like they are like the shortcuts, but if you use them it would be more effective and if it's more useful, right? So if you want to create a division tag, for example, if you say div, and if you want to give a division tag with a class called as hello, what you're doing, the first step you're creating is, first you're writing div, the second one you're writing class, and third you're giving class name. So there is a shortcut for this. What is it? If you want to create a div tag, type in div, and if you want to give a class name as hello, you say dot hello and tab, and there you go, you got a shortcut to discover these things, right? Same as with the ID as well. If I want to create a div with the ID as hello, see, it's hash, right? How do you represent that? It's with hash. The same way with h1. I want h1 with the ID called testing. There it is. It's so simple, right? And if you want to create a class, if you want to create a division with a class called hello, what I said was div dot hello, right? Instead, what you do is you can, for only for division this one works, this technique, dot hello and tab, it works, or else hash hello and tab. See, it only works for the division tag. So why I'm saying is this one, because I don't want to create a h1 tab. I don't want to create a h1 tab and say class and hello. I don't want to do these big steps. So I want to do whatever it is, but a simple and easy way. So I want to create a h1 with the ID called RGB-color. So I got a h1 with RGB color, and so over there we get a plain thing with fx. Yes, so as this is a RGB color, the second way to represent RGB-color, yes, so the second way to represent the color onto the screen is you say background color. So here, rather than writing the color name, what you say is RGB of, the values range from 0 to 255. So for example, if you want to print a white color, then what you do is you say RGB of 255 is the highest value, comma 255, comma 255. So save this and go back, you get a white color. Why? Because R is full, G is full, B is full. If you mix all these colors in a full format like 100%, you get a white color. But what if you mix them in a 0%? I don't want anything to have color at all. See, if you save it and go back, you get a black color. Why? Because R is 0, red is 0, green is 0, blue is 0. If all the colors are 0, by default color will be black. What if I just want red color to be displayed? Then what I do is I give the G value as 0, B value as 0, and I say I just want red, so I'll give the full color 255. Save it, go back, you get the red color. I don't want that much red, I want just 250. You get less red. I don't want 250, I want 100. See, it's going darker, darker, darker. I want just 50, more dark, more dark. I want like 25, more dark. It's not pure black, right? You can still see the text a bit, but still, yes, now that you understood the concept, what this is, it's as simple as it is. Now I'll say I want to represent just the green color. I want to print the green color as it is RGB. G is the middle one, so I'll fully increment it, and there you go. And the next way to guess what color what is, I want to mix green and blue. See, if I mix green and blue, what color I'm going to get? You can see directly over here. If I say lime green, I'm getting a lime green over here. If I see this color, the color is being printed over there. The same goes with these things, right? The same goes with this one. If I want to mix a green and blue together, I get this color, the aqua color, I guess, aqua. What if I want to mix green and red? Okay, you can mix and you get a yellow color. Yes, this is the second way to display the colors onto the screen. So far, do you guys have any queries? There is a lag like around 1 minute or 30 seconds or so. So what I'll do is I'll wait for 30 seconds so that if there is any doubts, then it would be easy for me to solve it right away itself rather than waiting. Yes, I guess there are no doubts so far. So what I'll do is I'll go on to the next slide. So yes, this next concept what we are going to cover is the hexadecimal color. So the hexadecimal color, as the name suggests and states, the values are ranging from 00 to FF, FF being the highest. In the RGB, we saw that the least color is 0 and the highest color is 255, the value. But in hexadecimal, it still represent in RRGGBB format, where the first two values are for red, the second two values for green, third two values for blue. So let's go with, let's we say I want to create a H1 with the ID Hexa Color. Nice. Jobless developer, I got a proper thing, but I want a gap. There is still a gap over there. That's not an issue, but yes, now that I have a gap at the bottom, what I'll do is I want to represent that in a hexadecimal color. So copy this code, say hash, paste it. So I want the background color. So for now I want to print, see, you can see these things, right? The hash 1 2 3 4 5 6, these things are nothing but, can you give me a moment, I'll just be back. Sorry for the interruption. Let's continue with this concept. So yes, as we can see the hexadecimal colors over here, that you see there are 6 format, right? If I want a background color to be white, then I see over here what we did. If we want the background color to be white, all of these things were 255, right? Then only the background color was white. Same goes with this one. If all the things are having the maximum value, which is nothing but FF, you get a white color. So how do you represent? First with hash, say 1 2 3 4 5 6, and there you go, it's a white color. But what if I want it as a black? I will go with all the least values, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Yes, but I cannot see the font. I'll say color hash 1 2 3 4 5 6, and there you go. So this is one of the way in representing the hexadecimal color, but it's very hard for us, right, to represent all these things. What I want is, for example, if it's E and which is D, which is A, I don't know what color I'm getting. See, I get some combination with, go with a B, C, some random color, right? So we go with 1 2 3 4 5 6 and leave it as it is. Yes, so this is how you represent the second way of the color format, which is nothing but the hexadecimal representation of the color. And you don't have to worry about these things again and again, because there are many more websites wherein you can get the colors from, and you don't have to remember the colors things. That's the main thing, right? If you remember everything, then what's the use of the IDE over there? Yes, now that you know the hexadecimal, this is also called as non-transparent. Let's go with the other concept. I hope this concept is easy for everyone, so we don't have to wait for this one. Let's go with the next concept, which is called as HSL format, which is also a non-transparent one. So in this, H is called hue, where the hue is represented in the degree of the color wheel. The color wheel, the degree is from 0 to 360. The second one is the saturation, how much darkness percent you want the value to be. The values to be 0 to 100. And the third is the lightness, how much lightness or the brightness you want the color to be. The value ranges from 0 to 100. So let's look at this one. So let's like control D this one. I don't want the Hexa colors, so what I do is I'll say HSL color. Let's save this. Let's see. Yes, there is one. Hash control V. I want background color to be HSL of. The first one is the color, right? Let's say 0 degrees, comma, how much lightness I want, how much darkness. HSL, right? This is saturation. Saturation is darkness. I want it to be like 60% dark and 30% light. Cannot be 40. Let's try this one. Yes. So for example, let's go with a 270 degrees color with a 64% and a 57, something like that, 53. So in the HSL color, what we do is normally we go with hue saturation. Give me a moment. There's some problem. My keyboard has stuck. 1 minute. Yep, sorry for the interruption. Let's go 42, 65. What's the error? HSL, right? Let's hold this topic for a moment, this HSL, but I'll make sure to get back to this concept. Yes, might be an error somewhere. What if I go with the 0? It's asking a percentage, huh? Why is C in the previous version of the WebStorm that I have downloaded, it doesn't ask for the percentage. That's what I was wondering, because it's just a number format. We don't go with the percentage. Yes, it asks for 0 to 100%, but it automatically considers it as a percentage. It will never ask us to type in percentage. So that's what I was wondering, what mistake that I have done, because these are the basic concepts that I have learned. So it's not even a tough job to remember these things. Yes, so now that you know, okay, darkness percentage value, see, I just didn't write percentage beside it, I just wrote what it is, 0 to 100, right? So now that you know, it's like one of the way to represent the color, the hue, how much it is from the color degrees. It is like, for example, it is 300. The color changes. So for example, if I say HSL of 152, it's different color, right? So this is how it varies from color to color. It still is a non-transparent color. So yes, the next concept that comes into consideration is called as RGBA format, where A is called as alpha. RGB is the same concept, red, green, blue, but A is called as alpha, where it comes under transparency concept. You want the color to be transparent or not. So what we do is, rather than having a background color, I will try to let you guys know a basic concept called as background image. How to display the background image, right? So okay, for example, I did not do this one. For example, I create a div with a hashtag bg dash image, lorem 40. So I have this one. What I will do is, for the background image, I want like the width to be 500 pixels, for example. So yes, I want to drop a box shadow. So I have a proper box shadow. I want a proper padding. So I have a padding, but now what I want to do is, I want to display an image. I want this to be at the center. So what I'll do is, I'll create a margin auto. Nice. There is no gap beneath, right? So what I do is, oh, okay. So now we know the basic concepts. This thing, what I want to do is, I want to add a background image to this division. To this division, I want to add a background image. So what I'm saying is that for the division, so it's nothing, right? So I'll just write division, the tag attribute, the tag way of convention. I will say in that division, it should have a background image. So background image is considered as like this, background hyphen image. I want the background image. So for the color, it's just the color name. Normally if we take image tag, how we used to do, we used to say img, and for this image tag, what all things are there? src. src is nothing but where is the location of the image, right? So here in the css way of representation, in src is nothing but url. So where my image is there, that is the first thing that I need to know. Let's go back to the folder structure. Let's see. Outside the practice files folder, there is something called img folder. In that img folder, there are a lot of images, right? So what I say is that I need to go back first, right? In order to print the image, I will go back to the folder. In that, I'll say there is something called img folder. In that, there is something called, for example, image4.jpg. Save. We give this property over there itself, right? Because the reason why I gave the ID is because I don't want all the divisions to have this one. So the color, width, padding, margin, everything is there as it is. Yes. So the first one we need to know is we need to create a division with the ID call as pg-image. That's done. We created a paragraph and we are saying that for the ID pg-image, I want the background image to be this. The first property, let's try the other image. There might be some problem with my editor itself then, because this is the way to represent the image. Okay, let us, what we do is the better way to represent this is, okay, let's go with here. We'll say background image URL to be img. If I say img, no, right, doesn't find, so dot slash in img folder slash image3.jpg. let's save this. Okay, something came up. Yes, I understood the properties. The problem over there itself, because of the folder structure, my there is something called underscore in this files, so it creates a problem jumping back over there. Yes. So yes, it's because of the folder structure it is unable to jump back and get those things. So what we do is we try to implement this concept in the once we know about what these things are. Yes, so let's open this up in the live server. Open this in the terminal. Oops. Open it in the terminal. Now we get the live server. Copy the URL, because it's because of the folder structure. The naming convention of the folder should be proper, or else it'll be a problem jumping back to the folder which is having a space or whatever it is. So yes, the first concept that we need to know is the colors. See, yes, the colors, this image is properly aligned for now. So RGB, hex, HSL, RGBA, HSLA, these are the just text which I have displayed over there. So the first thing what we do is we will try to create a Yes, so the first color is nothing but to display it in the RGB format, right? So yes, in the RGB we create a division. The division height is this much. So we say id equals to RGB. So for hashtag RGB, I want background color to be RGB of 255 comma 255 comma 255 up. Okay, so I want to print like a 0. Let's go with this color. I want a width to be like around what do we say, 200 pixels. Yes, so this is what I was trying to talk about. What we do is we try to print out in this normal way. First we go with the H2 and we try to represent that with that one. So now we'll go with represent with the hexadecimal code. The hexadecimal code is nothing but hashtag HEX. So I want the background color to be hashtag 123456, and let's go with the same width. Yes, let's go and represent with the HSL format. So the ID is HSL. So first one will be the color of the degree from the circle. Let's go with, for example, 150 degrees. Saturation should be like 35%, and I want the lightness. Okay, let's go with more dark color. So I want with 70% saturation and the lightness to be around 40%, say. Okay, but I want the width to be the same width, so yes, this is the representation. See, you cannot see anything behind the color. Whatever color you see, it is non-transparent, right? So the next concept is nothing but RGBA. So yes, so with RGBA, in this RGBA, A is called alpha. Alpha is nothing but it what do we say, it calculates the transparency, how much transparent you want. 0 will be full transparent and 1 will be the full color, like no transparent at all. So let's go with the background color. I want the background color should be RGBA of, for example, 255 0, and last one will be the A. For example, let's go with half transparency. No, we'll go with the full color itself. It's 1. See, let's go with the width, right? Well, let's go with the same width, or else let's leave the width as it is. So this is what is called as a full color. The next thing we need to see is that we'll go with the half color. So, or else we'll go and see the no color at all. So no color is nothing but 0 is no color. Go back and see, you cannot see any color. It's not the mistake of the code, there is no error in the code, but the thing is, if the transparency is 0, then it means that it's crystal clear. So what if you want a light transparency? You go with 0.5. You can see, right? You can see through the color, you can see the image through color, right? So this is called as transparency. These two things are same color, but here you applied a 0.5 as the alpha. That is called transparency. Please can you give me a moment? I'll just be back. Sorry for the sorry for the trouble, guys. Let's go with the next concept, which is called as HSLA. So HSLA is having the same thing. For the first one will be the color of the degree from the degree circle. Next one will be I want the 60% darkness and 40% lightness. Let's go with the 20% lightness. And the third one will be alpha, right? Let's go with 0.5. And there you go, the transparency, right? You can see through the image. So with this we have covered the colors concept. So do you guys have any queries so far? So by now you know the different ways to represent a color onto the website. So with alpha and without alpha, if there is no alpha concept involved over there, that's called as non-transparency colors. And if there is an alpha concept covered over there or involved over there, then the transparency comes in place. So now that we know how to display the colors and what are the different types of colors available and how to go with those things, what we'll do is that we'll go with the next concept called, oh, these things we have done everything right. So yes, so now we know about these basic things. Yes, the next thing is called as a plugin. So what's plugin? For example, if I go over there are so many colors over here. What if I want this background color? I don't know what color that is. So you have a lot of plugins. For example, this is eyedropper. So I go over there, I say I want this color, for example, I click on that one, I get the RGB and hexadecimal over there, right? And for example, I want this one, I get RGB and hexadecimal over there. For example, I want this, I get. So depending upon what color you want, you can select from the image. What if I want the color from the image? That will be the next question. See, it's already done. Okay, that's amazing. But still, you know how to get the colors from the image, right? So it's easy. How do you do that? Just download the plugin called as eyedropper. This is an eyedropper plugin. So yes, see, if I do that, it's called color pick eyedropper, the name suggests. And there is another plugin which I would like to you guys to try that out. So it's called color picker. Two things does the same thing, but these are very much useful, guys. If you want any colors, then it's better to click on that color and get the code rather than searching what color it is, right? So yes, now that you know about the colors, the next concept is called as backgrounds. So for colors we have a list of colors, right? Same with the backgrounds, we have more properties. So background properties, what are the background properties and what are the things that we have seen so far? So the first concept is the background color. So you can use any color format that is from the before itself. So what we do is we try to do all these things together, right? So what is this? Why is this thing is having a highlight on the end? So the reason is that over here, this is like the shortcut code. This one code does everything. The first one is background hyphen colon. You say what color you want. The second one will be what image you want. The third will be how you want to repeat it on the X, Y, or you don't want to repeat it. The fourth one will be the attachment. The fifth one will be the position. See, all these three things, all these 1 2 3 4 5 6 things together are done in the same syntax itself. So the first concept is the color concept. So let's go back, let's go and open the backgrounds. Yes, what we do is I'll create a H2 and say as a background color, and I create a division with the ID called bg-color, and I say H2 I am from teal color background, and for this what I'll do is I will create a ID bg-color. I say background color is teal. Good, right? Let's give a padding. Let's say for all the division tags, I'll create all the divisions there. I'll say for all the division tags I want the padding to be 15 pixels, 10 pixels, or else margin auto. Nice. So the first concept is the background color. So this is called as the background color property. In the background color, what we try to do is we just write background-color as a teal. So let's go and see how to display the image onto the website. So what we do is the first concept is called background color. So copy this, paste it. There will be an error obviously because the background color is repeating. So the next thing is called as image. So yes, now that I created an image, what I do is rather than having a H2, I will create a paragraph with lorem 40. Yes, so I have a background color as image. So what I do is I'll go with the BG image. Box shadow 00 10 pixels black. Nice, right? It's represented properly, and the padding, everything I have already mentioned, so you don't need to have a padding. Let's go with the background image. Now in order to display the image onto the screen, you need to have something called as background image. It's nothing but URL. So I say there is something called image folder, and in that image folder there is something called image4.jpg. now you see it's because of the folder structure and the name I given to my folder, that's why I couldn't get that. See, I'm getting an image over in the background, but what if I don't want the color, right? I want the color is not visible over there properly. I say color as white. Good, right? It's visible, and also you can see the image onto the screen. Now the next concept is background called repeat. Let's do the attachment part later on once we'll go with the repeat. So yes, what we do is we copy this one, repeat, copy this. So repeat, right? So what I want to do is I want to create a empty division. I don't want any p tags in this one. So for this repeat, what I want to do is you see I'm not getting a space at the bottom, so what I'll do is I'll create a margin bottom. Now I'm having gap at least, so I'll go with 200. More gap, that's good. So yes, there's something called as a BG repeat, right? So what I'll do is I will say hash yes BG repeat. So what is this is because first I need to create a border, right? I'll say width, I want the width to be 500 pixels. You cannot see anything. I want a height to be 300 pixels. You need a border, something like that, so we'll go with the box shadow like the one which we go all the time, 10 pixels black. Good, right? You get a proper background. So I want a background color to be light salmon. Okay, let's go with light green, it's good to see, or else let's go with the light salmon itself. That's nice. So now I want to add an image, so for example let's go with the background image property URL. In the image folder there is something called as nature. You can see the image over here, right? See, it's repeating, right? This image is repeating on and on, but what we do is we go and look at the image in the image folder. The image is just a single thing, but over here if you see, it's repeating over there. So let's see, if I don't want to repeat this image, what I want to do is there is something called as a background repeat. So my background repeat, see, there are a lot of things over there. Let's go and see with the property called no repeat, the value no repeat, and see, you get a single thing. But what if you want to repeat that just on the x-axis? So go with the repeat x, just get the x-axis. But what if you want to repeat on y? You go with y, repeat on y-axis. So this is what is called as the repeat concept. So if you want the image to be repeated on x-axis on or y-axis, then it's the same. But there is another concept over here which you need to learn as well. For example, if I don't want this to be repeated, so I'll say no repeat, so I just get the image. But what if I want the image to be on the top right corner but not on the top left corner? So there is something called as background position. So on this background position I say I want it on top right, save it, and you see it jumped to top right. Good, right? And there is something called as the background attachment as well, it is called as scroll, but I will explain about that concept later on. But for now there is something called as the shortcut technique that I wanted to show you guys as. For example, let's leave the background attachment as scroll for now. See, background attachment scroll is nothing but whenever I'm scrolling the page up and down, see, even the image is scrolling along with my page. This is called as scroll. If you don't want the image to scroll but just the website to scroll, that is called as fixed. So now I want the image to scroll along with my scroll options, so it is called as background attachment is scroll. So what is the cheat code, the concept that we wanted to see? It's called background. The first one will be the color, light salmon, space. The image is nothing but URL of the nature, space. The third one is repeat. I want it to be repeated, so I'll say no repeat, space. Where is the attachment? the attachment is a scroll, a space. Where is the position? I say the position is top right. Save and remove the whole thing. See, no changes at all. So this is what we need to learn as. So this is the main basic cheat code technique that I wanted to show you guys. So now that you know what are these properties, let's go and look at what another thing is. The one called as repeat is done so far. So just the one property is left, which is called as attachment, and let's go and look at what attachment is. Okay, so let's create a division with, for example, call as BG attachment. It's good, right? It's easy to remember. So yes, the attachment is after image, so let's go after image itself. I wanted to create a division with ID called as bg-attachment, so directly I'll say bg-attachment. So now what I want to do is I'll write a h2 tag above, so that so background attachment. So what I'll need to give the properties styles now, so let's go and give it beneath this image itself. So what I want the attachment to have a height of, for example, 300 pixels, and after this I want a box shadow. Background attachment, nice. Now that I know what a box shadow is, what I want is I want a background image. So we go with the background properties itself. First one will be the color, white space. The second one will be the URL. So in the image folder slash, we'll go with something called image5.jpg. Okay, I don't want this image to be repeated, so I'll say no repeat, and I would want to be as a scroll, so that you get to know what a scroll is, and I want that to be at the center. So yes, if you look at the screen over there, it's like if you scroll the image. Hi, thanks for joining the live. Yes, if you scroll the image or if you scroll the website, you see this image, whatever is there, it's scrolling along with the website. But what if I want this image to be fixed? What if I want this image to be like that itself? So what I do over there is that rather than typing a scroll, I will say fixed. And you see, if I scroll the website, the image is fixed at the background. But rather than that, everything else is there as it is, right? You see, this is what is the advantage of fixed, and you can see a lot of websites using this concept as well. So what I'll do is I will let's leave as it is because it's because of the division of width. Let's remove the width. See, now the image is good, right? You see, the image is as it is, but the image is not moving at all. Just when I scroll, everything else moves, but the image stays as it is. That's the advantage of fixed. And there is another concept that I haven't written over there. This is called as a background size. So let's do what a background size is. Before doing background size, there is something called background position, and yes, we'll do with the position as well, but the position is nothing but you want that to be fixed or not. That's the same thing. So we'll go with the background size. BG as in background, don't worry about that, don't get confused with the terminologies. Yes, so as it is, the first thing that we do is we create a h2 tag, right? We want a heading, proper heading. We say background size, yes, and I will say that I will create a division with the call as a background size. So I'll say bg7size and tab. I got a div with the bg size. So next what I do is I'll say hashtag bg size. I'm sorry, it's like I press the enter button so hard. That's why I make sure I have a keyboard whenever I do the programming, or else my laptop keys will be broken by now. So I want the width of this to be like around 500 pixels. I want the height to be around 300 pixels. I want a box shadow 0010 pixels of black. Let's see what I have created. Yes, I got a proper box. Now I want a background image. Let's go with the background image. So the concept we learned is URL. Oops, sorry for this one. So in the image folder there is something called as, what do? We take image 2 because we haven't used this image. Oh, see, it's not the color, right? You can see the image if you go and look at the image, or else we go with the image 4 itself. You can see the image over there, right? But you can see that this image is just displaying this much on the screen. Why? Because if you see the image 4, it's so big. It's like 1920 by 1280. From that we are just displaying how much? 500 by 300. It's very small, right? But what if I want to display the whole image? Then there is something called background size, background hyphen size, and there are a lot of things over here. What if I do it as cover? You see, it's saying that whatever image is there, I need to cover it in the dimensions that I have provided. Amazing, right? So this is the next concept that I wanted to let you guys know as. So, and there is one more thing that we have seen in the previous example when we developed a website, right, which is called as a background color in the as a linear gradient. If we want a color combination as a background, so let's go with that one. Let's say that linear gradient. So obviously we want a h2, we say linear gradient, and now I want to create a div tag with a linear ID, so I say hashtag linear. That's not hashtag, sorry, but still I speak it as a hashtag. Yes, now go with hash linear. So what do you want? I want the same width and height. Width as 500 pixels, height as 300 pixels, and I want a box shadow. Yes. What I want is background color. I want background color in a combination. So what I say is background color is a linear gradient. There is something called as a linear gradient, not with the background. Normally what we do is with the background we say I want a light salmon color. Directly we go with this color or whatever it is. We go with the naming conventions, right, that we learned. For example, I want a light teal color, go with the teal. But if I want a background, then I should say background linear gradient. So the first one will be the degrees, in which degrees you want the combination. I say I want a 45 degrees. So what are the combination of colors? So for example, I say the first color I want is light green, the second color I want is teal, the third color I want is lime green. Oops. So everything in a green combination. You can see, right? The color combination, it's been arranged in a 45 degrees angle. But what if you don't like 45 and you want a 90 degrees angle? Then to just change the degree over there, you get a different shades. But I don't want 90, it's like different. I want 120. Go with the 120. Easy, right? It's good to see, right? So this is what is the next concept that I wanted to cover for today. So this is called as the color concept. So now that you know how to display the colors, the next concept and the final concept that we'll discover for today is called as, so we are done with the backgrounds, right? The last concept is called as a borders. So yes, we need to know what a border is, right? So when we know about the border, we'll discover what are the different types of borders available. It's just a 15 minutes left for us, so in 15 minutes we'll cover the CSS border concept, and we'll be covering 3 concepts in today's class. And these 3 concepts are important for us to learn, guys, because these are the basic things that we need to know. Yes, so the next concept which we'll go and do is CSS borders. So what we do is we just close these things. We just don't want to get rid of those things. Open the file called CSS borders, plain background. That's nice. Hi, thanks for watching. Yes, so the next thing is CSS borders, right? Let's open up the CSS borders. The first thing what we do is, for example, let's save the file. Let's create a div tag. And let's see, there's a predefined styles over here, right? I just don't want the predefined styles, so what I do is, let's say bye bye. We don't want that thing. So for example, I'll say I'll create a h1 tag, jobless developer. I want to add styles for that, so let's add all the styles that we have learned so far, right? That's easy for us to remember. So I'll say for the h1 tag which is over there, I want the font family. First I want to change the font. It's weird, right? So I just don't want that font. I will say Comic Sans NF Sans Serif. Yes, this looks a bit good for me. And I want to change the font size. For example, I want 50 pixels as my font. Okay, it's big enough. Next I want a proper width. I want the width to be 500 pixels. Okay, you cannot see the width for now until unless you add the box shadow, right? 0 0 10 pixels and black. You got a proper box shadow. I want a spacing with a bit with inside the box, so I'll go with a padding of for example, I'll say 15 pixels, space 25 pixels. Nice. And I want a margin auto. Don't worry about this margin concept, because margin concept will be covered in tomorrow's class, but for now I don't want like that. I want like 100 pixels beneath it. Nice. So now that I know this one, I want the text to be at the center. So the one which we learned previously, text align is center. The text is at the center. Great. Now that we have all these basic things covered up, now what I wanted to do is I want to add a margin. I want to add a border. So what if I want to add a border? So let's go with the syntax. So what does the border have? The first property, the first value is what is the width of the border you want to add. The second one is what is the style of the border. They are like dotted, solid, dashed and double. It's like 4 different types of borders. The third one is the color, the one which we learned previously at the beginning of the session. Like there are 6 ways to represent the color, right? So first one will go with the width. So I want to add a border for this h1 tag. So what I do is I say I want the border. How much border I want? For example, I say like 5 pixels border, and I want it as a straight line, so I say solid. And for example, we'll go with the blue violet color, save it, and there you go. I have border and it's displaying on all sides. what if I don't like blue violet, I want like another color. So I'll go there, backspace, what color you want. You want light coral or light coral, let's go with that one, save. That's it, right? Border has been applied. So what if I don't want this a straight line border, I want like a dotted borders. So I'll say dotted, and there you go, you have the dotted borders. I don't want dot borders, I want dash borders. Okay, dashed, you get the dash borders. But what if I don't want the dash borders, I want the double borders, right? So what we do is we go say double, and nice, right? It's simple, it's good to see as well. So what if the width of the border is not that much, I want a slightly more bigger border. So let's go and increase the size. We say 10 pixels, save it. Nice, right? So now that you know the border concept, what if I say that okay, this is good, but what if I want the border just on the left side itself, left side of the screen? Okay, what we do is let's create a h1 tag, h1 with the id called border on left, right? And say it as jobless developer, save it. I say I will do it as, I'll say id border all sides, Control C, because I want to just change this thing. I want to, if it's a border on all sides, then I want this to cut, this to be pasted over here. Oops, cut and paste, save. No changes, or else even this will get applied with these changes as well. So yes, so now I want border just on the left side. So what I do is I copy this one, as this is a ID, I say hash on left. And what I said, if I want a border on left, then there's one thing called border hyphen left. And what you want the border, you want the same color to be on the left side with the same properties. Paste it over there and see, you can see the border on the left side itself. Now I just want a single straight line on the right side. Then okay, it's easy, right? Control D, border on right. Just copy this part. So I want a border on right, so border hyphen right. The same thing, but I don't want a double, I want a straight line. So I'll go with solid, save it, go back, and there you go, right? It's good, right? So now I want it on the bottom, same like this one on Control D, on bottom, so now I want a border on bottom, so it's easy, right? Border bottom, I want like a 50. Okay, let's go with the 5 pixels itself. I want it dotted and blue violet just on the bottom. If you want on the top, then replace that with the top, border top. That's it. Now that we know about these borders, it's good. But what if I want this border to be slightly curved in the edges? There is some concept called as a border radius. See, it's called as a rounded borders, right? See, you got done with the styles, you know how to add the colors, on which side you want to design and develop. It's done. Now you know these concepts. The next thing is called as a rounded borders. So for example, we create a h1 tag with the with the id called rounded style, something like that, okay, and say jobless developer, save it. No styles, but let's go and add a round edge style as a ID. So I'll say border 5 pixels solid, and let's go with a dark color, right? Like dark red. Yes, so it's like a sharp borders over there, but what if I want a rounded borders? There is something called as a radius. Radius will only be there for a circle, right? So remember in that way. So I want something called border, and for border I want to add a radius, right? How much radius you want? For example, I want to give a 10 pixels worth of radius. You can see the borders are slightly rounded, but what if I want more rounded? Just increase the size, guys. 15, more rounded. 40, more rounded, right? Let's go with the 50, right? 50, more. So what if like you want completely round? You can go with the pixels or percentage, right? See, if you go with the percentage, you see. Okay, now that you know how to create a curve or the rounded border, but what if I want the border on the top left corner itself, not on the top right, not on the bottom right, bottom left? So the conventions are like this. It's top left, top right, and bottom left. These are the values that you need to fill in. So I just want the curve to be on the top left itself. So what I do is, just in the top left, how much I want. For example, I'll say I want 30 pixels curved, and all these things I want it as 0. I don't want any curve. See, just on the top left itself there is a curve. But what if I want in the bottom right? Just change with this one, say 30 pixels I have on this, but even I want more curve on the top right. So okay, it's easy, go with the 50 pixels, more curve. So depending upon which side you want curve, you can do like that. So it's easy right now. Or else there is another coding concept, but I'll explain that to you in later on. So with this you can try to display whatever you want. For example, if you want to create a division, you say hash circle, because it's up to you. You want to display the circle onto the screen. It's nothing but I say that hash circle, I want a width if I want to create a circle, then what is it? It's like completely circle, right? If we create an empty division, for example, that's what I'm showing. The reason what I'm showing is that this will give you a final concept that you understood properly. See, I'm creating a proper division over there. See, what I do is I give a margin bottom 300 pixels, right? So now I can scroll. Yes, I want that to have a proper border. It's a circle, but I didn't mention the circle over there. So what I'll say, it's h2 circle. Yes, I want this square to be circle, so I give a proper border. So I want a 5 pixel solid, and let's go with a proper good color, coral. Yes, but what if I want that to be a circle? So what we do is we give a border radius of 50%. You see, you can create the custom things by yourself. It's up to you what you want to do and so on. So from today's concept, what you guys have learned, the first thing is how to represent a color and what are the different ways to represent print out a color onto a screen. Once you knew about these things, the second thing which we learned is what are the background properties, like background color, background image, background position, background attachment. Do you want to repeat the image or whatever it is? The third thing which we learned in today's concept is borders. And how do you display the borders? What are the different types of borders? How do you change the colors of the borders? How do you change the width of the borders? What are the different types of borders? And what if I want border on the top left, top right, bottom right? How do I do that? And along with that, how to display circle just from scratch, just from a proper division and milling that one. It's up to you. If you want an oval shape on x-axis, then just increase the width, right? I increase the width of 200. For example, I say it has 300 pixels, and you see there is some different shape. What if you want it over there? You say 100, so 100, and go with this as a 200. You get the shape, depending upon whatever it is. Because in future we will learn about the animations concept. So when I come up with the animations concept, for example, if you want a circle to fall from the sky, and when it falls on the ground you want it to expand, right? Make sure it's expanding like a ball. If you want that to happen, you can do that with just a CSS itself. You can say that at this time it should be like that, and so on. So all this concept will be understood to you once you understand the basic concepts. So don't by heart this concept, just understand these things so that it would be easy for you in the later classes on. So yes, I guess that's it for today's concept. So we did with this one with borders on each side, and so yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching today's video, guys. I hope you had an amazing time understanding about the basic concepts. So thanks for watching, and thanks for the valuable comments. It means a lot for us. And if you have any doubts, then please do type in the comment section so that I will follow up with the doubts. So if you have any doubts, then please do let us know, and hopefully we'll solve them right away. Thanks for watching today's videos, guys. Let's meet up on the Monday's class. Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye bye.